Hi there guys and girls, it's time to do the Q&A. I know you guys have been waiting for this one. I will say this video, expect it to be long. I'm expecting it to be long. So 93 people submitted questions and most of them didn't submit one question. In fact, one guy submitted like 15 questions. So I'm going to answer as many of them as possible. I won't be answering ones that I deem personal. I already mentioned that. And I've literally just copy and pasted these from the thread where I said submit your questions. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. So the first question comes from Neo Kokoro 20. By the way, I'm sure I'm going to butcher all the nicknames, so I apologize for that. He asks, are you going to re-review all the Mortal Kombat games excluding MKX since you just reviewed that one? Also, what happened with the Total Mortal Kombat site? Are you still working on getting that revived and everything? Are you going to re-review all the Mortal Kombat games? Maybe. It's something I'd like to do. It's something I haven't specifically planned. Like, I'm going to re-review all the Mortal Kombat games. In my, in the videos I did this month, I picked certain ones to do because I thought that they were cool reviews, or they had a lot of interest, but I haven't specifically said I'm going to redo all of them. Do you know what I mean? So, that being said, I'm sure in the future I will be doing some of the other games. And I'd like to, film them better. Like, there's a reason I keep, this place is small where I live now. This little house, I live in a tiny little house on my parents' land, separate house. And one of the things that I brought across is that little TV that you guys probably remember that I used to review the games on. It's just, I can see it from here. It's in my room over there. And the reason I bought that here was because I wanted to use it in videos. And it's funny because it's sat there the whole time and I've never used it once. But I want to set the TV up and have it right and film it so it feels retro, but it's something I want to do. But yeah. The other question you asked about Total Mortal Kombat site, like I've said in the past, it's extremely low priority for me. I don't update it with current news. What I'm working on is the archival stuff of it, so it's all old stuff, it's all outdated stuff, but it's a lot of stuff that I have and it's not on other sites and it's in high quality and stuff like that, and it's definitely stuff that I want to get online. Excuse me. But for me, it's extremely low profile. I put everything in front of it. Even if I just feel like playing Pokemon Go, I'll go do that rather than do that. Like, and I mean, that's a real shitty attitude, I guess. And even though I'm unemployed now, I got more time in that. But it's really, for me, I have to be really in the mood to do something to get through it. And I know that's shitty. It's just how I am. It's how I've been my whole life. And sitting there and recoding every single page and redoing every single image and re-editing every single video, that's what I have to do to get this site back up, to get all the content into the quality that I want. Do you know what I mean? And honestly, I don't do it very often, and I haven't worked on the site in months, so I do want to get it up. But that being said, I don't work on it too, so I've done a lot of it. A lot of it's done, but it's like doing all the move sections and putting all the moves up. What I really need to do is prioritize how I do it and put all the content up first, and then look at maybe doing all the moves and special moves and that, because it's kind of time consuming. But yeah, I do want to get it up, but that's what I struggle with. I want to do it, but it's boring, and I do everything else before it. I hope you guys understand. I mean, it's crazy, I know, but it's just how I am. The next question comes from Paul Phoenix. Oh, the one punch guy. KO! He asks, when it happens, what direction would you like the story to go in MK11? The biggest thing for me was I see what they were trying to do in MKX with Quan Chi and that, and there were some great moments in it, you know, like Scorpion killing Quan Chi and that. It didn't feel dark enough for me. Like, it felt a bit like Quan Chi had remnants and they'd show up and do things and then disappear and then appear and then disappear, and Jax used to be one of them and he's not a character anymore, and it felt kind of all over the shop, you know. I think the biggest thing that I want in MK11, I want it to be really dark. I want Outworld to be a scary place again. I really didn't like that. I know I repeat myself, I'm like a broken record about Outworld, but I really felt betrayed by MKX like that. Like, Outworld felt like such a fucking happy place. Like, it had monsters and that in the background, but I don't know. Like, compare the style of MK9, Khan's Arena. You got that big monster in the background, the Tormentor, and it's like this guys like fighting against it, or they're trying to like control it, and it's like fighting them up, and it's like attacking them and shit, you know, and throwing them around like ragdolls. That was kind of scary, to be honest. And Khan's just sitting there in front of it, he's not even afraid while this fight goes on, you know. And the MKX levels, you know, Outworld Marketplace, you got the tiger sleeping in the middle and you bounce off it, does nothing. It does nothing! Why not eat? You bounce off it and then there could be something else near it, like an NPC, and it could like eat them. Like, oh, you know, like there's nothing that's like scary in the backgrounds, and they don't feel foreign anymore. They feel like Earth levels, you know. And they might have been going for that because Kotal's the new emperor and that, but you know, I don't like Kotal Khan. So that's where I want MK11 to go. I want someone needs to overthrow or kill Kotal Khan, and they need to be a really bad guy, and they need to put Outworld back down into the depths of hell. Like, I'm talking shit on fire again, skulls and dead people and lots of purple. You know, that's what I want from MK11. So the next question comes from Roy Bughanem. Sorry. The first time I played MK2 was in the arcade. It was the most intimidating game I'd ever played since I was young. Can you recall your first experience playing MK2 in the arcade? What was it like, TMK? Ah, yes. I'm trying, no, there's a few places I played MK2. I'm trying to think which was the first, because that was close together. No, it would have been Melbourne. So I live in Melbourne now, but I used to live in Queensland. And Queensland had this whole thing against Mortal Kombat back then, so it was kind of hard to find, and when you did find it, there wasn't no violence on it. Excuse me. So I came to Melbourne, visited one Christmas, and we went to Melbourne Central, which is still here. And it's a Hoyts now, for anyone who lives in Melbourne. The Hoyts up the top used to be Time Zone. And up there was this big arcade, you know, had heaps of games. You know, I went up there and they had not one, but 2 Mortal Kombat 2s. And I remember there were 2 lines for each one. And everyone was playing Johnny Cage. You know, and I was watching, like, wanting to play it. You know, and these guys were playing Johnny Cage. I don't know why. Maybe they played it every day and they were up to Johnny Cage or something, I don't know. But then I finally had my go. I don't really remember playing it very well. I think I got my butt kicked straight away. I picked Scorpion. I think I tried the MK1 sort of tactics but didn't work and got killed straight away. And I think I only played it a few times and didn't do very well. Now I'll tell you the other story, because that was probably the first time I played MK2, and I was intimidated by it too, because it was fast moving and it was all about timing, and the computer could really steamroll you. But there was another time I played MK2. Now I mentioned Queensland didn't have blood in that. I found out somehow that this university had this arcade, this little arcade on campus, and they had a Mortal Kombat 2 there. So, and it was in a weird place. I made my mum drive me out there just to play fucking Mortal Kombat 2. So I went out there, and they had it on a big projector. And I remember under the screen there was a sticker and it said Extra Hard Tough Guy Edition. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, I just want to play normal Mortal Kombat 2. And anyway, I chucked my money in. And I picked Scorpion. And I thought it was weird. I thought the characters were in different spots on the select screen. I thought, oh, I must be imagining things. And then the battle plan comes up, and it's all fucking crazy. Like, it goes and goes down. And I think the first person I was fighting was Jade or Kintaro or Noobsopbot. And it turns out I was playing the Challenger hack, which many of you main guys would know about. And I was just like, what the fuck? You know, and I got my ass kicked royally again. I only got a few games in, and that was it. You know, so those were the 2 times I remember playing MK2. When I moved to Melbourne, there was I ended up playing most of my Mortal Kombat. There was MK1 and 2 at this arcade near. We didn't have a house yet. We were staying in a like a unit while we looked for a house, and I'd go to this local arcade and they had these 2 games. And they had Killer Instinct and Cruis'n USA, and I really liked that arcade, by the way. It was Magic City, by the way, for you guys in Melbourne. Excuse me, for you guys in Melbourne. It's funny, the Magic City sign's still there, but it's a cafe now. And it's called the Magic City Cafe. But it was this great arcade. And I spent a lot of fucking time there, and I played heaps of MK, and I got good at MK2 there and stuff, so had a lot of fun playing that. Next question. I've got to get through this quicker. Otherwise we're going to be here forever. Next question comes from Zach Whitaker. TMK, can we get any more drunk reviews in the future? The special review... The Special Forces review was pretty silly. It was pretty silly. Look, I don't get drunk much these days anymore. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't do it for a video if I thought it would be good. I really thought back then I was kind of on fire with the views, I guess, with the amount of views I'd get and stuff. But when it got to that point, I wanted to do other things with the Special Forces review. I wanted to do special effects and that, and I filmed everything, and then I got to the editing and realized I couldn't fucking do any of it, and I kind of had to be trained. Thanks, train. I filmed all the you know, the shots, like the, you know, stabbing the sword into the game. I thought I could make it explode. I thought I could do these things, and then I realised I couldn't do them, and then so I just kind of had to. It became a silly review, and I had the costume I bought on eBay. I made the silly harpoon out of a fucking bottle opener and a chain, but I did it drunk because I thought it would affect how I was, and I didn't want to be how I was normally, and I hated the game, and I thought it would make me, you know, act out and against the game more, and people loved that review, so I guess it worked, you know, and that's the reason I did it. And I don't really have reason to do it for many of the Mortal Kombat games because most of them are really good, you know. I've done it a few times. I've cracked a beer, like, you know, playing some of the other games because they're bad, but not awful. Like Special Forces is like awful. So the only way you're going to get any enjoyment out of it is to be drunk. So, you know, it's possible that in the future I could do it again, but I don't know. We'll have to see. It has to be the right review for it. Question 4 comes from Gary R. If you were the writer and director for the next big Mortal Kombat movie, what would your story be about? Characters, setting, fighting, time frame, everything, and ultimately how would the ending play out? Would you have a post-credit teaser? What would that be? This is hard to answer because it would depend what Mortal Kombat movie I was making. If someone asked me to now, they came up to me now and said make a Mortal Kombat X movie, that would affect obviously the characters in that movie. If I wanted to just, if someone said make a Mortal Kombat movie and we won't, you know, interfere, just do it, sort of thing, base it on the characters. And this is going to sound really unoriginal, but it's I really like what Kevin Tancharoen was going for, you know, and I guess that's kind of influenced me. His original Rebirth concept was fucking amazing, and because I've seen that I'd like to make that. You know, if he's not going to do it, I'll do it. You know, makes the gritty Jax and Sonya, they're Special Forces agents, and they found out about this secret tournament, and all the worst killers are there, and you know, and they send Scorpion in to kill everybody. That's a great idea. Now let's say you didn't want me to do that idea, and I had to do something fully unique. I would honestly like to, and this is going to sound real silly, I would honestly like to do a second movie. Annihilation was garbage, as we all know, but I have said in many things that there are things about it I like. I really like the costumes. I still stand by that Brian Thompson was a good Shao Kahn, because that character, you know, he's an emperor, he's strong, he's not a man of a lot of words, you know, it's just that awful script made it come off like worse than he can do. If you guys go back, watch some Brian Thompson stuff. Go back and watch Star Trek. He's some of the Klingons sometimes. Go watch Cobra. He's the bad guy in that. You know, pig.
You won't do it, pig. You won't shoot. Murder is against the law. You have to take me in. If you can. Even I have rights. Don't I? Pig. Take me in. They'll say I'm insane. Won't they? The court is civilized, isn't it? Pig.
He does stuff, you know, and it's all strong, intense bad guy characters, and I think that suits Shao Kahn. So my problem wasn't Brian Thompson as Shao Kahn. You know, I thought he was good Shao Kahn, but he had the god awful lines, and it is glorious, you know, and it hurt the movie. But I would like to remake a sequel to the first Mortal Kombat movie, because Mortal Kombat was an amazing, awesome movie, and it would be cool to have a second movie that wasn't Annihilation, that was actually good. I know it's a bit of a weird answer, but that's my answer. Alright, next one. From Jason Voorhees. Here's a question. Do you wish Moloch was in MKX or should come back? Moloch and Drummond had a good had good interlocking stories in Deadly Alliance about feeding on, they were Oni and they would feed on people and and Quan Chi recruited him from the Netherrealm because Scorpion was after him as protectors. And it worked well with that circle of characters with Quan Chi and them and Scorpion. There was a great sort of camaraderie of storyline plots, and that's what's great about that character. Now, it is possible to carry them over because Quan Chi's still around and so is Scorpion. Moloch could be in it. But the problem is when you have a character in Deadly Alliance and then you kind of drop him, after that he comes back in Armageddon, yeah, but that's just a cameo. We haven't heard from him in a real storyline concept, and there's this big rift now. So, for me, that's a bad thing. Like, it could be turned into a good thing. Like, they kind of did with Goro in Mortal Kombat 4. You know, because MK2 always said that Goro apparently died, but in MK4 he came back. You know, and there was a 2-game rift that wasn't too big, but we're talking Deadly Alliance was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's like 4 games. I don't know. He could come back, but honestly, I'd probably prefer, personally, Draman. Because he has that club arm, he's all flesh, he's got the flies. And I think that's amazing. Alright, next question from Let's 8-Bit. What is your top 3 favourite movies? Which I've already filled in here. My favourite movie of all time is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I still stick by it. The head's up there. You guys can't see it, the talking head. There's only 5 of them in Australia. I busted my ass to get one of those and did. Last one in Victoria. Yeah, Terminator 2 is my absolute favourite movie because it combines action, drama, adventure, special effects, horror elements, comedy. There's so much cool shit in it. And I always talk about this with my friend Mark. We have our channel Real Loud Reviews where we do movie reviews. Check that out here if you're interested. I always talk about this with Mark, that Terminator 2 would have had the greatest twist of all time if the trailers didn't fuck it up. And that was, you saw Terminator 1 and Arnie was the bad guy. In Terminator 2, you need to think about the movie. From the start, from when Arnie appears, he seems like the bad guy. He goes into the bikie gang, you know, give me your clothes, your boots, your motorcycle. He fucks them all up and takes it. He seems like he's still the bad guy, even though it had the cool music, you know, Bad to the Bone and that. We already knew he was kind of the good guy. But if you didn't know from the trailers, you would still think he's the bad guy. And then, you know, the Robert Patrick character shows up, and he takes on the form of a police officer, and a police officer is normally someone who is good, you know, and he shows up at the house, and he's not really doing anything. Even the first time he kills the guy, you don't really see it. He goes, "Ugh," you know, you don't see him stab him or anything. And then he looks up John Connor on the computer, goes to their house, you know, and just he asks about, where's John? Oh, don't worry about that guy. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. The movie's tricking you. But where the big reveal is when John is trapped in the shopping centre, the Galleria, and the guy's like, hey, you're not supposed to be down here, you know, and he's in front of the Pepsi machine, you know, and then you got Robert Patrick, the T-1000 at this end of the corridor, and you got Arnie at this end, and he doesn't know where to run, right? And then suddenly the T-1000, Robert Patrick pulls out the gun, and he aims it at John, and then the T-800, Arnie, says, get down, you know, and then they have that big fight where they're shooting at each other, and Arnie turns around and uses his back as a shield, you know. That's awesome. That could have been such a cool reveal. Like, if you were in the cinema, oh, no way, Arnie's the fucking good guy. But the whole thing was ruined because of the trailers. This time, there are 2 Terminators. They ruined the whole thing, you know. But if you think about the movie as itself, I love Terminator 2. There's a lot of cool action, a lot of cool scenes. He kicks the desk out the window, comes up with a minigun and just, you know, shoots all the police cars, doesn't kill anybody, but it's so symbolic. You know, James Cameron, master filmmaker. So, that's my favourite first movie. My favourite movie of all time. My second favourite movie is The Shawshank Redemption, which is an absolute masterpiece. Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins tell the prison tale of, you know, Tim Robbins' character, Andy Dufresne, who escapes from the Shawshank prison. The Shawshank prison is run by, you know, badass guards like Clancy Brown, who also played Raiden, Defenders of the Realm. And Bob Gunton, who is the warden of the prison, and you know they use Andy Dufresne because he's such a smart banker. They use him to do all the tax papers and that, you know, and they won't let him leave. When there comes a chance for him to leave and maybe he's innocent and prove his innocence, they won't let him. So he breaks out, you know, and yeah, and it's that whole redemption. You feel for the guy because he's in prison, you know, and then when he gets out, you know, he's free. You know, and the whole movie's great. The soundtrack is great. The acting is great. The movie's funny. It's a pure drama. but it's really good. Now, this one, my third favourite movie of all time, I got these from a list that I did up a while ago, and when I put these on here to answer this question, I was like, 1 and 2 I stand by, but number 3, probably not anymore. I've got Kill Bill Volume 1 down. Look, I really loved Kill Bill. I really did. I remember seeing that in the cinema and being glued to the screen, on the edge of my seat. I've always loved David Carradine, or Carradine, however you want to say it. I grew up watching Kung Fu with my parents. I really loved that show. And I loved the philosophy in it, in Kung Fu. And he was the bad guy in Kill Bill, and he has the coolest fucking sounding voice. But other than that, you don't even see him much in the first one. You know, it's kind of a tease. The action was just so good, so non-stop, so stylistic. The music, the choice of music, you know, and Mark always talks about this. He's such an expert on Hong Kong movies. I'm not, but it bothers Mark because all that stuff is ripped off of Hong Kong films. But I see it as homage, you know, and, you know, it bothers Mark more because he sees it as a lot of people watch this movie like me and they don't know anything about Hong Kong movies, and that pisses him off, you know. It's not my fault though. I just haven't seen many Hong Kong movies, and Kill Bill was this movie that gave us everything in sort of a, you know, 2.5 hour thing. These days I'd probably put that a lot lower. I'd have to look at my top 10 again. Like, I love Kill Bill, but, you know, thinking about it, I'd probably put RoboCop higher, or Ghostbusters higher, or, you know, Boogie Nights higher, something else. But for now, I'll just say that. Excuse me. For now, I'll just say that because I did have it in that spot at one stage. Oh, it's killing me. My voice is still a bit, like, I'm not sick, but I still got a bit of a cough lingering around. I've had it for a while. It's been a bit of a shit thing. Alright. Next question. From MexyKid2. Sorry, it's just MexyKid. Sorry. Hey TMK, love your videos and everything. Big fan. What do you think of Injustice 2 so far? And when and what do you think we will see in MK11? I'm not the biggest fan of Injustice. Like, I played a lot of the first one. It was fun for a bit, but for me, there's no passion, there's no hook to it. It's not Mortal Kombat. I live for the Mortal Kombat games. I tried. I thought there might be something really cool about Injustice because the same guys did it. And it's an extremely well-made game, and it is fun to play. Like, there's a lot of cool things in it that I wish kind of carried over to MKX, but didn't. Like the stage transition thing, I thought for sure that was going to carry over, but it didn't. Which pissed me off because I actually tweeted this out. I go, stage transition started in MK3 in the Mortal Kombat franchise, but somehow ended up in the Injustice franchise and are no longer used in the Mortal Kombat franchise. So I'm not too excited about Injustice 2, to be honest. Now MK11, I'd love to see. And, you know, like I mentioned earlier, just a lot darker story, you know. Same sort of characters. They got to bring back Aaron Black for sure. They got to put Serena in it. Nitara for sure, you know, because I keep asking for them and fucking nobody's listening. You know, I'd like to see those characters in it. So now the next guy sent me 13 questions. That's Mutant 0079 Gambit. He's put, I loved your channel for the longest time. TMK, keep doing what you're doing. Thanks, man. Now, I'm going to answer the ones. The first one's like your favourite childhood memory. I'm not going to answer that because, you know, I'm only answering Mortal Kombat stuff, really. Second's your favourite nostalgic childhood memory connected to Mortal Kombat. I will answer that one. I guess it's just playing the first one on Mega Drive. You know, I played it heaps, like lived that game. There was nothing else to do. There was no, you gotta remember guys, like, you guys always say, oh, you suck at these new games now, and it's true, I do suck at the new Mortal Kombat now, but it's different now because A, the games were so much simpler back then, they were easier to learn, and B, back then there was no mobile phones, no internet. You know, there was just TV and video games and playing sport, and there was a lot less to do. Now I can do stuff on the internet. I can watch Blu-rays. I can go out and play Pokemon Go on my fucking phone. There's a million things I can do now, and the Mortal Kombat games now are super advanced. Whereas back then it was easy to learn and get good at the game, and I had Mortal Kombat 1 on Genesis, and I just play it so much, you know, and like I said, I just learned it all the moves, and I was younger back then too, you remember everything, and it was good fun to play. I had a lot of fun playing MK1 and challenging people, and, you know, the whole Blood Code and the Sega, and my Mega Drive's just there too, so, yeah, that's probably it. Now, next question. Your favourite spin-off MK game? He's put in brackets Shaolin Monks, question mark. Look, I love Shaolin Monks. It's a great game. I had a lot of fun playing it, but I'm going to go with Mythology Sub-Zero. I think it's severely underrated. It does have problems. It needed more content. The controls need to be fixed up. But I really like the idea of playing Sub-Zero, and I really like the idea of going through a side-scrolling game and beating levels based on the elements. I thought that was kind of cool. It was kind of simple, and I kind of enjoyed it. So, I'm not saying it's better than Shaolin Monks. I'm just saying there's something I preferred about that. You know? Excuse me. Your opinion on other fighting games like Virtua Fighter or Tekken or Street Fighter, 2D and 3D. I don't really play many of them. I've played all of them. The most Virtua Fighter I've played was Virtua Fighter 2. The arcade that I first worked at, excuse me, our change booth, when you exit the change booth, right next to it we had a Virtua Fighter 2. And a lot of us, when I first started working there, if there were no customers, we'd jump on that machine because it was near the change booth and play it. And I'd watch my boss play it. My boss, he was like a lot older than me, but he played the games. And he loved Virtua Fighter 2. And I'd watch him play. He'd always play the drunk guy, Shun. And yeah, I played it a little bit. I never got anywhere near as good as him. He was good at it. But Virtua Fighter 2 had a great style. And Sega were killing it in the arcades back in that day, you know. They had Virtua Cop, Virtua Fighter, Manx TT, Daytona USA, Sega Rally. You know, they had awesome arcade games, you know, and I loved Virtua Fighter 2. I thought it was a great game. And I wish, you know, I'd actually played it more and learnt it more, because that's a game I'd like to be good at. I never see it around, but yeah, that's the game I'd like to learn. Maybe I should look for an arcade board and play it on my cabinet one day. Tekken, not really the biggest fan of. I played Tekken 3 the most. Again, it was in that time in the arcade. It was at that same time. We had Tekken 3 in that same arcade. We had Virtua Fighter 2, Tekken 3, MK3. Yeah, so... But, yeah, Street Fighter, not the biggest fan of, but played a lot of it because, you know, when I was younger, you're either a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter guy, and a lot of my friends would play Street Fighter. Your favourite piece of MK your favourite MK memorabilia piece, like figure or special book. Figure or special book. There's a book, a Mortal Kombat book. It's called the Mortal Kombat Superbook, which is pretty cool. If we're just talking figures and books, it would be that. If we're talking anything at all, my favourite piece of MK memorabilia would be the Mortal Kombat Deception press kit box, the wooden box. I got one of those, and that's a really cool and rare thing. It says Mortal Kombat Deception on it, you lift it up, there's a Melina Sai in it that says Mortal Kombat Deception, like a letter opener. That's pretty badass. That's one of my favourite collectible pieces. What's next? God, all these questions. Next time I'm going to say one or two questions, seriously. Your Injustice 2 expectations. I've already talked about Injustice 2. Let's move on to the next question. Have you ever attended a Mortal Kombat tournament or other fighting game tournament? Yes, I have. It's actually on my YouTube channel. Search Mortal Kombat 2 tournament. So we had a competition. This was back in 2005, 2006. The boss, my boss back then, who I'm still friends with, I still see a lot, organised a tournament, and the idea was to beat the champion. And they had, I think it was four games where they had champion players on that were supposed to be really like the best of the best. And the idea was to come down and beat us, and if you beat us, you won a prize. I was the Mortal Kombat 2 champion. So people would come down and they had to challenge me and try and beat me to win a prize. There was also Dr. Mario, which was my boss's specialty. He loves Dr. Mario. There was GoldenEye on Nintendo 64, and there was F-Zero on Nintendo 64, I believe. And that night, all the champs got beat except me. No one could take me down on MK2. So you can watch that tournament online. I battled Noob Saibot in the end, and he beats the hell out of me, and people are asking me about him. And look, to be honest, most of the people that played me that night didn't know how to play Mortal Kombat, you know. And a lot of people watch that video and go, "Oh, you're not even good. Those people who are playing you aren't even good." That's right, they're not, you know. But my specialty was Mortal Kombat, and I was kind of hoping that some awesome Mortal Kombat player would show up and try to take me down, you know. But no one really did. So that was that. I hosted that at the work. That's where I work. So that was fun. Another train. Have you ever cosplayed MK character? Or if you would, what character would you portray? I never have, but if I would, I'd be Kano. And I thought about doing it this year for some of the conventions. I picked up a pair of the army pants, the urban camo pants that he has in MKX, and I wanted to kind of make the eye mold and make the eye light up. I can do all that shit. I just have to learn. Actually, I can do the electronics easy. It's making the mold that's the hard part, and then I just need the rest. Obviously, I'm not in shape, so I'd have to have some sort of vest because no one wants to see my big fat gut. And I actually got something like the cybernetic implant, a thing that changes colors with a remote. And I got that back when I was in the old house, and I thought I got those pieces because I thought I could do Kano one day, but I never worked at it. Then you just need the army boots and stuff, but that's all I do because, you know, he's Aussie, mate. Now, next one. What do you think happened to MK Legacy Season 3 and the new MK movie? I think Warner Brothers trashed it because Legacy Season 2 was garbage. I think they were banking on Season 2 to be good, and then they'd do the movie, but it wasn't. So they didn't do another series, and they haven't done another movie. They keep saying they're going to do one, but I won't believe it until something solid comes out about it. I know what you're saying. Oh, but you know, James West's got to do it. He's got to produce the movie. You know, produce. They don't have a director, dude. Who's the director? They don't have one. What's that tell you? Anyway. Your favourite TV... just says your favourite TV shows and your opinion on Game of Thrones. I don't watch Game of Thrones at all. I know. You guys are getting pissed off. You're jumping up and down. I can't believe... I watched the first episode and I thought it was overrated and a boring piece of shit. And it took me 2 times to watch the episode, and that, for me, that's a really bad... Like, the first time I watched Mr. Robot, I wanted to see the whole thing. The first time I watched Dexter, I wanted to see the whole thing. The first time I watched Breaking Bad, I wanted to know what happened. When I got to the end of the first episode of Game of Thrones, I had no interest in watching any more of it. I found it really slow, boring, and, you know, I know it's real violent now, and there's heaps of tits in it and everything, you know, but maybe one day I'll have to go back and revisit and try and watch it again, but Other than that, favourite TV shows, I guess the ones I mentioned. Dexter's a favourite. I love Mr. Robot. I watch Suits. I'm going to watch Narcos soon. I don't know if I like that. I'm saving House of Cards because everyone tells me it's so great. I want to watch that. Dexter's one of my all-time favourites. Sons of Anarchy was fun. Breaking Bad was amazing. I love Better Call Saul, which is a spin-off of Breaking Bad. So there's some of the shows that I like. Your favourite Asian movies and your top 5 movies of all time. I'm not going to answer that. I've already given you the top 3 and we'll be here all day. So your favourite gaming figure and merchandise overall. Favourite gaming figure. I mean, that Nathan Drake's pretty good. Gotta be honest. I don't know if he's my favourite, but he'd be up there. Do you watch anime? Not really. One of my favourite animes, it's an old one, Cardcaptor Sakura. I think that's really well written, well animated. The story's like awesome, characters are great, everything makes sense, lines up, it's a very girly anime, but it's really well done. For that reason, it's an amazing anime. If you can get past the girly cuteness of it, it's really good. Okay. He said after that, answer them all as detailed as you can. Yep. Okay, so we're moving on to the next question. Otherwise, like I said, we're going to be here forever. It comes from Nick Theo. I'd like to hear your perfect MK sequel to the original movie, or would you continue from the end of the second movie? Like I said just a few questions ago, if I did another movie, I would do a sequel to the first movie and kind of ignore the second movie. But that being said, I would have the same opening that Annihilation had, where Khan breaks the rules. At the end, it comes out of the you weak, pathetic fools, I'm here for your souls. And then he opens the portal and all the Outworlders jump in. I would just make it look cooler. And then I'd even keep the part where Johnny Cage tries to stop him and he kills him. I thought that was amazing. That was great shock value. Johnny Cage did die in the third game by an extermination squad. That made sense to me. It just, everything that happened after that just went downhill, So I would pick it up there. I'd spice it up and make the intro cooler, and then I'd make sure that the story's played out a lot better and not just had characters show up and die for no fucking reason. That's awful. Okay, next question from Pero Kokic. Congrats. Do you think Shaolin Monk's movie would be cool? Yeah, it could definitely work. If they made a Mortal Kombat movie and just made it about the Shaolin monks and made it self-contained within itself, it could definitely work as a film. Because it would be self-defined. It wouldn't, and that's the scary part about Mortal Kombat, is the lore's so big. If they did do it just about Shaolin monks, it would be very self-contained and a lot easier to tame that beast, and make a decent movie. Just have some cool fight scenes in there, some cool, martial artists, and a cool story. Next question from Silent Hill UK 89. What did you think of the Assassin's Creed movie trailer? That's what I thought. I thought it was okay. The posters were up. I don't know, it must be coming out soon, or it's already come out. No, I don't think it's come out yet. The posters are up though, even here in Australia, so yeah. I haven't played I've got 2 Assassin's Creed games up there that I haven't played. Unity and fucking, what's the other one? Syndicate. And I haven't played the one before then, which I don't have at all because I had no money. I'm actually missing that Assassin's Creed game. All the ones up there are collector's editions. I've got a little Assassin's Creed shrine up there. I don't have Black Flag, which everyone talked about being so great, which kind of bums me out because it ruins my shrine for a start. And I do like the Assassin's Creed games, but I never got through 3, and that kind of ruined them for me. I had trouble getting through 3, so. But I bought the Syndicate and the Unity because around Christmas time they'd go real cheap, like $80 for a collector's edition with the statue and that. I thought they were cool, so I've got 2 Xbox One games there that I haven't played. Next question from Michael Mumford. Hey Luke, I have 2 questions for you. 1, how did you get the arcade machine? Tell us the full story, the cost of shipping, etc. 2, why is your arcade still in your parents' house and not at your house? Okay. I got the arcade machine from the arcade that I used to work at. So there was no shipping. Not really, anyway. I bought it from the boss. It cost me $1,500 back in 1998. And it had Ultimate MK3 inside it. So Ultimate MK3 at the time was worth about $650 for the board. So I got the cabinet for about like $850 or something. Yeah, and I just left it in the arcade, sat in there, made me a whole lot of money. Then I had huge falling outs with the bosses because they started firing people left, right and centre. I was the first of that. And then they wanted keys to my machine. I sold them, so I pretty much told them to fuck off. I said, it's not your machine, you're not having keys to anything. And they said, well, you can take your machine out of the arcade by tomorrow. I said, fucking fine, I'll fucking do that. You know, and he walked off, and then when he walked off, I racked up like 100 credits. So people would just stand there and play my game all day long for free, and I walked off, you know, and I didn't tell him. You know, and I was hoping that people would just be playing my game all day long, you know, and just to kind of get up him. And then the next day, I picked up the arcade machine with my dad, and we drove it out here to my house. And there's like a dirt, well not dirt, there's like a pebble path that goes around the house into the area where you've seen me film the videos in front of the arcade machine, that rumpus room. But you can't wheel the arcade machine because the arcade machine's got small wheels. So we couldn't wheel it around when we first brought it home. So I had to put it in the garage for a while. And then we got a removalist like the next day to come out, and he wheeled it around. He put it on a trolley that had the thick, you know, bubble tires, and wheeled it around, and we put it in the rumpus room. And that cost like $50. He charged me to do that. So that's pretty much everything, you know. The arcade machine sat there the whole time, so even when I went out and I was renting, I'm no longer renting. I live in a house that's on my parents' land now. It's a separate house. It's not part of their house. It's in Australia we call it a granny flat. I live in a granny flat, but I'm not a granny. There's no granny here. It's just me in here. You know, it's very small. There's my bedroom, my bathroom, my computer room, and my kitchen, and this room. That's it. You know, but I love it. It's self-contained. It's great, you know, and yeah, it's cheap, you know. So I got NBN. So yeah, I'm happy. All right. Next question from Jonathan Cantres. Do you think that the story of MK11 will be an alternate telling of Deception with Anaga and Dark Raiden as the main villains? Also, who do you see returning to the game? It's hard to say. They're definitely going to do something with Dark Raiden for sure. It seems like Raiden's storyline or character arc is forever tainted, because in the last timeline, he ended up becoming dark, and even in this new timeline, he becomes dark as well. It seems like that's Raiden's destiny, is to become Dark Raiden. And so they're definitely going to go with something from that. As for Anaga, hard to say, you know, very hard to say. What characters would I like to see returning? The ones I mentioned earlier, Nitara, Serena, Scorpion, of course. You know, Sub-Zero, Aaron Black, for sure. Quan Chi's always fun. Shao Kahn would be awesome as the new bad guy. Shao Kahn or Anaga would be amazing. Next question from AJR2K. Congrats, bro. What will be next in the future of TotalMK? It's a good question. You may have known, or may have noticed, or heard me say, someone's messaging, in videos that I'm looking at doing Pokemon Go videos, and I'm really excited about doing that. And I think what could be good for the channel is doing something fresh like Pokemon Go that's got a lot of people behind it, and still doing Mortal Kombat, of course, but at least then I have something that doesn't, like, doing just Mortal Kombat is great, I love it, but it's restrictive too, because I can't grow my channel because it's a niche thing, you know. I'm not one of these tournament players, you know, all these... Fucking hell! I'm not one of these tournament players who, you know, can play the game really well and get all these thousands of views like your Maximilian dudes and that. I can't do that. I can only talk and promote the game, and even that, I've had trouble with that now because, you know, I told Warner Brothers to get stuffed, and I can't interview them or anything anymore because I didn't like the way that they were promoting the game. So I kind of shot myself in the foot a bit there, you know, but I stand by my decisions. Like, as bad as they are, my friends know this. It might be the wrong decision, but for me it's the right one, even though I've hindered myself, you know. So doing something like Pokemon Go, I really do enjoy the game. So I'm looking forward to doing some videos. And I have that phone that's beeping. It's getting repaired tomorrow. I'm sending it away. And when it comes back, I'm going to start doing the videos soon. So see how it goes. Like, if they don't become popular, then they might be just a burden on the channel, and it mightn't be worth doing even Pokemon videos. It depends, like, how well they do. Because if I do all these videos and they don't do well, there's no real reason to do them, I guess. So, in regards to Mortal Kombat on the channel, what's next? Just the usual, more reviews, more playthroughs. I've done so many of the reviews. I want to look at maybe going back and doing the playthroughs that people like when I do Deception and things like that, but, you know, actually being consistent with them and doing like a chapter every day, not like one a week, and that, you know, didn't work like that. Didn't work very well, and I can see it as why people are frustrated now. You know, you really need to do daily content. So, okay, next question from Nip Tuck King. Okay. What would you like to see in MK11? This seems to be the ongoing question. I've already answered it. Sorry, dude, I'd like to give you more, but I've already kind of talked about it with previous answers. So I'm just going to move on to the next one, because I went to question 16 of 93. So, person 16 of 93. So, from Andre Lopez, what do you think about the MK games from the PS2 Xbox era? I love those. Deception's Conquest mode was amazing, and the crypt was loaded with so much stuff. Exactly, dude. My favourite games of that era are Mortal Kombat Deception and Shaolin Monks, and I believe both games were exceptional. You know, I really have a big soft spot for Deception. Probably a bit more so than Shaolin Monks. I just believe they took Deadly Alliance and they amped everything up perfectly. The marketing and the trailers and the excitement about it being online for the first time, and all the games, and the Conquest mode was so fucking much fun. I loved Deception. Loved it. Next question from Coco. I can't say this name. Coco Choji. What do you think about Mortal Kombat X? Well, you can watch the review, the Mortal Kombat X review. That's pretty much what I think about it. It lacked certain elements from previous Mortal Kombat games that I liked, like mysterious bad guy levels, foreign looking stages, things like that. The game looked amazing, that being said though. It's brought in some great new characters, the crypt is the best it's ever looked. You know, I wanted a bigger crypt and stuff like that. So I didn't hate the game, but it wasn't as cool as like something like Mortal Kombat 2 that has just oozes foreign. The Outworld is just amazing, you know, and it's scary, you know, and that's something that MKX felt like it didn't have, and it was jumping all over the place, you know, Earthrealm, Netherrealm. Whereas Mortal Kombat 2, you focus, it was in Outworld the whole time. MK1 was on Shang Tsung's Island. MK3 was urban, it was in Earthrealm, you know, so that might be why. Next question from Adam Mansour. Will you play through MKSM? Possibly. I did one chapter already. It didn't save, so if I do another chapter, I have to play all that again and then continue on and actually save this time. I'd like to do it. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to plan it. I'm not going to say yes either. I haven't planned to do it, but I did mention that I'd like to do some playthroughs, daily playthroughs in the future. And if that becomes a thing, then Shaolin Monks would definitely be part of that. Next question from the Aussie Viking. Even though you're probably iffy on Injustice 2, how do you think that this will benefit MK in the future? I believe it will be good, but hey, always up to hear what your opinion is on the subject. Also, new MK is probably likely getting worked on by a small team than a large team. I like how NetherRealm are doing it, ? Yeah, like I said, Injustice 2, or Injustice, not the biggest fan. I probably will get it still when it comes out, but I mightn't get it as a new release. And then again, maybe I will, because sometimes you get the new release ones cheap. So sometimes the new release is the same price as, waiting a while anyway. But I probably won't get a super collector's edition or anything, unless it comes with some Mortal Kombat thing in it, which I doubt. It's got weird characters like Gorilla God and Blue Beetle, who I don't know anything about. So, it's not really my thing. As for MK11, I'm not sure what you mean by MK is most likely getting on by a small team. I'm not sure where you're getting that information from, but I haven't heard anything. Sorry, excuse me. I haven't heard anything about it being worked on. So, in fact, people keep asking for KP3 and they seem to be pretty quiet about that. So, I don't think any Mortal Kombat's being worked on at the moment. Next question from CJ Kid 1231. I have a few. He has 3 questions. That's alright. What could NRS do to Tremor as a character to make you ever like him? Have you played the fan-made game MKTX? 3. Out of the following versions, MK1, 2, UMK3, 4, DA, Deception, Armageddon, vs DC9, Injustice X, which version of Scorpion do you enjoy playing the most? These are good questions. I like these. Okay, so first one. What could NRS do to Tremor as a character to make you like him? Not much. Look, as I said, when NRS did Tremor, I knew he would come out good. And he is a good character. The only reason I don't like him was I didn't think he should have been there when there were other characters who deserved a spot. That's pretty much the main reason for me hating him. But now that he's there's nothing I can really do about it. So I don't hate him that much. I continued the joke, because people got so mad at me for hating that guy was in it. They seemed to really hate it, and I found it funny, so I kept joking that, fuck Tremor, sort of thing. Occasionally I'll even put out a tweet and say, Tremor sucks, or something, just as a joke. But, they made him a good character. If you like him, that's fine, dude. I just didn't think he should have been in MK, before Fujin, Serena, Sector, anyone else. Next question. Have you played the fan-made game MKTX? No, I haven't. I don't play much of the unofficial stuff, so I haven't played that. Sorry. Can't comment. Number 3. Out of the following versions, 1, 2, Ultimate 4, Deadly Alliance, Deception, Armageddon vs DC, 9, Injustice X. Which is your favourite version of Scorpion? Do you enjoy playing the most? It's definitely Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2 Scorpion's always been my favourite. I thought he looked the best. I thought he was animated the best. I like the diamond quilt pattern. I like the mask. I like the shin guards and that. The harpoon's faster, and everything about MK2 Scorpion is the coolest. Now, if we were going to say 3D games just for fun, and that includes, I guess, 4, I'd say my favourite would have been either Verse DC was awesome. 9 was great. You know what? I'm going to say Deadly Alliance. The other favourite Scorpion I really like, that they haven't really seemed to have done since, is the Flaming Skull Scorpion, the alternate costume one in Deadly Alliance, where he's got the chain wrapped around him and he's got the flaming skull. Thought that looked badass. Love playing as that character. It was that skin, so. Alright, next question from Mick Jewell. Hi TMK, I've been a subscriber for a long time and I just wanted to say thank you for your content. No worries, dude. My question is, do you want to have kids and let them grow up to be MK fans? No plans on that front. It's kind of personal, but if I ever did have a kid, they would definitely be MK fans. I would make sure of it. I would train them from age 1 to carry on the legacy of TMK. Next question, Nick Theo. Will you ever do another Pumpkinhead review? Because those are the best. I'm sorry I didn't do more Pumpkinhead reviews. You know, I had trouble getting him, like, when October would come around, something would happen and I couldn't get the review out. And then it would be late and then I would just give up because it was already late. And, you know, then I wanted to do one the year later and then I had the whole, 1,000th video thing and then I couldn't do that. And so it's been 2 or 3 years since I've done a Pumpkinhead video. And, like, I see them as really dumb videos, but I think that's what people like about them. I don't really say, like, I'm not very insightful in them. It's just a stupid thing to do, and and then I do something crazy at the end, which is something that I haven't done in a lot of my videos, and I think that's why people like them, because I set a game on fire, or blow one up with firecrackers. Someone I know here has what will I say here? Hang on, let me think. I do know a guy here who has licensed, or has the ability, or he has licensed firearms, and I thought about putting a bullet through a game. I thought that could be really fun, like taking it out to a range and shooting it with an AK-47 or something. I don't know. This is just speculation. This was an idea, because every time I did something to one of those games, I kind of had to raise the bar. Well, that's what I was trying to do. And I do have other games to review, like crappy games that that I could do still, and they're all PlayStation 2 games. So I really need to keep an eye out for some newer ones too. So I don't know if I do bring back Pumpkinhead. I don't know when it'll be. I don't think it'll be this year. We're creeping up on October now, and I don't have any plans to do Pumpkinhead videos. So sorry, dude. But yeah, keep your eyes out. You never know. Sometimes things change, so you never know, man. I apologize for not doing more. Next question from AIM0001. TMK, do you find both Havoc and the Chaos Realm interesting? Do you think NRS needs to start bringing back other realms to the MK11 story? Yes, they do. I do find Havoc and the Chaos Realm interesting. But those characters and those realms worked within MK Deception's storyline, and that's what's so great about it. I do think NRS needs to start bringing back other realms and stop just thinking about Outworld and Netherrealm. It was cool that they had Edenia and Chaos Realm and Order Realm and the Nexus. But if you do bring back another realm, it has to be relevant, it has to be in the story, and it can't just be in there just to be in there. Like, it can't be like, Star Trek 2 Into Darkness, when the Klingons just show up just because the fans said the Klingons weren't in the first movie. They have to show up and be like, and then they disappear. They're just there for fan service. You can't just do that. It has to be relevant. So if they do put the realms in, they have to do it for the right reasons. Next question from Phantom Tyrant. For my 10-year anniversary questions, I ask you, he's got 3 questions. Who is your main in Injustice? If it's Scorpion, then who was it prior to Scorpion? My main in Injustice is probably Aquaman. I really liked playing as him. Who were your mains for MK1 to MK Deception? It's always Scorpion, dude. Question 3. Who would you like to see in Injustice 2? Not really looking forward to Injustice 2. But if they're going to do a guest Mortal Kombat character, I guess it's got to be Sub-Zero. Because Scorpion and Sub-Zero are the biggest characters. They already did Scorpion, so it's got to be Sub-Zero in the next one. Next question from Fanta Orange. Do more videos, man. I enjoy your content and humour. Cheers from the UK. No worries, man. I'd like to do more videos. Do you like Pokemon? I hope you do. Because I want to do Pokemon videos. I'm a bit worried about doing the videos. Everyone's been really cool so far. Everyone said do what you want and everything, and I really appreciate that, guys. But I do worry about, you know, doing Pokemon videos and then people going, that guy does more Pokemon videos than he does Mortal Kombat now, because I've done so many Mortal Kombat videos, you know, that I'd be doing a lot more Pokemon videos than I would Mortal Kombat videos. I'd still want to do Mortal Kombat videos, but, you know, it's going to be hard to find the balance. And for a while, people might just seem like I've just lost the plot and I'm just going to do Pokemon videos. But I do want to do both. So that's the kind of struggle I have at the moment. I'm just going to jump in and do it and see what it does, you know. Like I said, I'm not just doing it because it's popular, because it's the latest craze, and because people are getting heaps of hits on YouTube. I'm doing it because I like the game. And I watch those YouTubers and they have gotten shitloads of hits. And hey, if I get that, that's good. You know, I'd like to get that because it would help the channel. That's why I'd like to do it. And that's why I was saying, if I do the videos and don't get views, it's kind of pointless, because then I see it as it could just ruin the Mortal Kombat stuff. So, you know, if it brings viewers, good. If not, might not be worth it. So that's why I want to see what it does. Now the next guy has 7 questions. God damn it. Number 1 is from Alklerist1. I have a few questions for you, TMK. Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter? Mortal Kombat. Second question. What are your thoughts on the Revenant or Dark Emperor Liu Kang? The Revenants were, like, they were cool that they were in the game, but they didn't really use them or explain them properly. They didn't explain how Jax kind of got out of being a Revenant properly, and I wish I'd explained a bit of that stuff more. So 3, who do you like more, Revenant, Dark Emperor Liu Kang, or Zombie Liu Kang? Definitely Zombie Liu Kang. Who is your favourite newcomer of Mortal Kombat X? Aaron Black. If there were UMK3 tournaments in I think he means in Australia, on arcade in Australia, would you compete in them? Sure, for sure. Like, I used to be crackerjack at UMK3 and I still remember most of the moves, so if there was a tournament, yeah, I'd practice and enter. Why not? Do you think the variation system in MKX should come back for Injustice 2 and or MK11? Not sure. I think they're going for something different in Injustice 2 with their gearing system and stuff. Definitely for MK11, people liked it, and it makes the matchups cool, which I like. It's not just, Scorpion's a shit character now. He's got 3 variations and he can take on other characters, which I like, which I think's great. Can you name 3 of your least favourite characters besides Tremor? Kai, Mocap's not that great, Dairu for sure. Mocap's better than Kai and Dairu. That's all I have. Keep it up. Thanks, man. Alright, next question. From Puppington3. Although guest fighters have been oversaturated a bit in MKX, if the next game could only have one character, Would you want to see Ash Williams in MK11 voiced by Bruce Campbell? Would you like to see Scorpion appear as a guest fighter in the next Super Smash Brothers? If you only have time for one question, I understand. Oh, no worries, man. I'll answer both your questions. And thanks for only putting 2. Guest characters need to stop. Like, as much as Bruce Campbell is awesome and Ash Williams is great, this is my boomstick. And, you know, Evil Dead's really hot right now. Ash vs. Evil Dead. In fact, I don't know if you can see. This thing here that the characters are sitting on is a piece of foam. This is a foam chainsaw that goes on your hand. And I got that from the Ash vs. Evil Dead premiere screening at PAX last year. So, a great show. It's fun, that show. At that screening, at PAX. What was it, PAX? No, sorry, it was Comic-Con. He came out to Comic-Con that year. And I was doing press for it, and I asked for special permission to get photos of Bruce Campbell. You know, I had to go ask for special permission and that, and they led me through this special corridor, and they said, did you want to stay and watch the show, because you're supposed to line up? I said, no, I just kind of want to get the photos and that. And they said, cool. And so I went in there and I got my photos of Bruce Campbell. I got some decent shots of him on stage. You know, they were decent. It was kind of dark, you know, I was dealing with, you know, digital camera, but... Anyway, she goes to me, I go, oh, well, I've got my photos now. She goes, oh, look, there's not, you know, it's not packed in here. She goes, you can actually stay and watch it if you want. I go, okay, cool, thanks. So, I stayed in there and watched Bruce Campbell talk, and honest to God, he is one of the funniest guys I've ever seen talk at a convention before. He was so smart and intelligent, and the jokes he was saying was so funny, and I wish I could have filmed it, but you know, you're only allowed to film at the start of their talk and then you had to stop. And he had an understanding of Australian sort of culture a bit. Like, I'm from Melbourne and we kind of always bag out people from Adelaide or Perth, and he kind of knew of that, you know, and it was kind of playing off that, because he was saying, you know, I was in Perth the other day and I was in this hotel and they were playing this game out in the lobby, you know. He was saying something about that, and it was so funny. And then people from Adelaide say, away from Adelaide, started yelling out, being the typical Adelaide people, and he was giving them so much shit. You know, it was so funny. He was such a cool and funny dude. And yeah, as much as I would say if he voiced the game, it'll be amazing and awesome, guest characters need to stop in Mortal Kombat. But yeah, he was awesome. Scorpion and Smash Brothers, no dude. just no. Right, next question from Cartoon Guy 133. What are some of your favourite video game franchises besides Mortal Kombat? Aha! That's a good one. Well, I love The Last Ninja. That's a video game franchise that was on Commodore 64. There were 3 games, Last Ninja 1, 2 and 3. Other video game franchises, Assassin's Creed, like that one. Gears of War, really like that one. Phoenix Wright, love Phoenix Wright. Objection. Uncharted, but there's gonna be no more Uncharted. I can't believe I just saying that out loud is scary. If they make The Last of Us 2, that's definitely going to be on the list. I think they are. The first Last of Us, oh, so good. What else? I think I love the Bioshock games. They were fun, but I don't think they make them anymore. Borderlands is fun. Yeah, can't really think of any more off the top of my head, but there's a lot. There's a lot of game franchises that I like playing. Next question from Groove for Life. Have you played or seen any Mortal Kombat Mugen games? No, I haven't. Not the biggest fan of the unofficial stuff. That doesn't mean I'm not open to playing it, but I kind of stay away from it, to be honest, unless there's something really, really cool about it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, haven't really seen them. Every time I see one, like, I've seen, like, things pop up on Facebook, right? And it's like, the select screen and all the Mortal Kombat characters are there, and then it gets all weird. It's like, you know, Mortal Kombat 1 Scorpion, and then someone's palette swapped the colours, and he's white. And then, so there's a white Scorpion with the same mug, you know, and it gets out of hand. They use the same graphics, or they flip it and change the colour, you know, and I can't handle it. Like, I see it, and I'm like, that's just Mortal Kombat 1 Scorpion, flipped around, changed white, and my brain sort of, like, gets annoyed about it. Do you know what I mean? And it's not just one. It's not like they've done it for one character. They've done it with a shitload of them. Done it with a whole lot of the MK2 characters, and the MK1 characters, and 3 characters. And so they can have this huge grid of characters. And I'm just like, it just bugs me. Question 30 from Equinox Fan 82. Hi TMK, here are my questions for you. What is the rarest, most coveted items in your collection? If possible, can you show them on camera, please? Have you gotten Mortal Kombat 3 for Sega Master System yet? What is the angriest that you have ever gotten in a video game, and what did you do? Did you break anything? If so, what was it? What is Dan Forden like in person? Also, did you ask him to say Toasty when you met him? Are you a fan of Beavis and Butthead, and have you played their game for Sega Mega Drives? Thanks, Luke, from Derek. Oh, my throat's getting a bit tired. Okay. I'm going to grab that item. Alright, so I'm just going to show the Mortal Kombat Deception box I talked about earlier because, you know, this is my favourite item anyway, so the light's probably going to do my best. I'm going to have to show it back here. So, this was a wooden box that came out. This is a press kit that came out with Deception. You can see it's got 4 sides, it's got the logo there, branded in the wood. Nothing under. And as you can see, it's got the gold dragon on top and the 2 hinges. And this opens like that. And inside you got that sigh I talked about, the Molina sigh. It's a letter opener. It says Mortal Kombat Deception on it. And there was an invite here. Was it an invite? A press release about Deception. Kind of like a little information leaflet. That's it there. Nothing really special. But on the back it's got like details about the game and press contact and stuff. And the cool thing about that, like, that's not the greatest thing, but it comes in this cool black envelope that is actually sealed with a Mortal Kombat dragon. Go close, let me see if I can show you guys that. Might be hard for me to show you, but it's got the Mortal Kombat dragon like wax seal there. So yeah, that's it. And these are very rare and go for a lot of money when they come on eBay. A lot. So it's a very cool item. It's probably one of my favourites in the collection. Have you gotten Mortal Kombat 3 for the Master System yet? No, I haven't. It goes for a lot of money. And just don't have money anymore. You know, so I don't like eBay too, so I struggle with both. What is the angriest you've ever gotten in a video game? What did you do? Did you break something? I did break something on. In fact, I can show you that. So, there was one time when I was playing PlayStation. And I got real mad, and I was playing with this cheap controller. It's not an official PlayStation one. It's just a see-through controller. And I don't know, I used to like playing with this one. I got real mad. I'm trying to remember what game it was. I think it was Star Wars Jedi Power Battles, because I was playing that game a lot at the time and really enjoying it, but I got to a really hard stage, and I think I got to a part where I just lost, and I threw this controller. I didn't even throw it real hard. I was just, like I said, this was a cheap controller, like $15 anyway, so I didn't care. But I threw it like, damn it, like that. And I think what happened was it like bounced, and like bounced, ricocheted, hit something hard, and broke this corner. So, again, sorry about the light here. But you can see all the dodgy, shitty tape. But you can see the crack. See in the plastic. This tape's actually holding it together fine. So, it was just a big chunky piece that broke off, so I just taped it back on. Controller still works fine. It was just a little empty handle piece here that broke. But, yeah. I do get mad sometimes. You know, not as much anymore playing games. Next one. What is Dan Forden like in person? Also, you asked him to say Toasty when you met him. Dan Forden was such a cool dude. I wish, and I feel like such an idiot for not like filming an interview with him, because he's hard. No one ever interviews him. Like, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Sometimes, like the MK team, they'll put him in a video here and there, but like, I used to hate that. I used to love the Mortal Kombat music, and in all those videos that you'd hardly ever see Dan Forden, and maybe he doesn't like to be in videos, I don't know, but I always wanted to see him in interviews. And when I was at E3 in 2006, and I'm really lucky that, you know, as much shit as I give to MK Online, one of the MK Online guys, Scott Bishop, came up to me and said, hey, that's Dan Forden, just so you know, you might want to go get a photo. And I didn't even realise. If he didn't point that out, I never would have met him, you know. And Dan Forden, I went over and we spoke to Dan Forden, man, and my head was spinning. Like, I'm a huge fan of the Mortal Kombat soundtracks. And I was just talking to him about Ultimate, because Ultimate, you know, I've got the arcade machine, and talking about little nuances in the music, and just talking about the music, and it was just so cool. He was so cool. And Dan Forden even gave me his Midway business card, you know, which meant a lot to me, you know, because the reason he gave it to me was because I asked him for some, this was how cool he was. He was the guy who mentioned to me about the Ed Boon, you know, rude samples, like the get the fuck over here, get over here, bitch. He mentioned that they'd recorded them, but they might not be in the game, and then I think at that time I'd found out they weren't going to be in the game, or I was told they weren't going to be in the game. I know you guys keep saying they are in there. I haven't heard him though, but either way, he said email me and we'll see if we can set something up, and I'll see if I can get him to you, you know. And I was like, oh cool, and he was so awesome, he was so nice, got a great photo with him. He was only at that one E3, I never saw him at 2008 E3 or 2010 E3, which is a shame because he is such a nice guy, like so nice. And I'm actually spewing I didn't ask him to say Toasty. I mean, he probably gets it all the time, but I really would have asked him to say it, but I forgot to, but I would have asked him to say it, you know, because, I mean, he's Toasty, you know. Are you a fan of Beavis and Butthead? I'm not a huge Beavis and Butthead fan. I don't have any problem with Beavis and Butthead. I like Mike Judge. Silicon Valley, his new show, is so good, so funny. I love that show. In fact, I forgot to mention it earlier with favourite TV shows. Love Silicon Valley. But he did Beavis and Butthead, and Beavis and Butthead was definitely funny, but it was kind of a one-note joke for me, but it was funny. I had no problem with it, but I never played the Mega Drive game, so can't really comment on it. Alright, so I'm going to take a break here because my throat's kind of tired, believe it or not. We're up to person 31 out of 92, so going to take a little break, and I'm going to come back and see you guys soon, alright? Okay, so going to resume the questions. Just had to take a little break. That I got this big light blinding me. Normally I can take it for a while, but you know, after like an hour or something, it kind of gets a bit intense. So I just had to take a bit of a break. But okay, so next question from Joe Drummond. Any chance you will cover other video games you're passionate about on this channel? I know you have other channels set up, but it stops you becoming big as a whole. Sometimes I think you're held back by being exclusively MK here. Happy 10 years. Yeah, you're right, dude. I never joined YouTube. I never became a YouTuber to be YouTube famous like, you know, other people are. And it's still something I don't really... Like, I don't want to be super famous YouTuber. It'd be great if channel TotalMK made enough money for me to do this as a job and do continual videos and even travel a bit and go to, like, you know, events where they're going to announce new MK stuff. And I'd love to do it like that, but I wouldn't really care about having, you know, huge amounts of money, you know. As long as I could live my life and pay the bills, you know, I'd be quite happy. But your question, yeah, would I do other things? You know, I've done like Sonic playthroughs, I've done Resident Evil 4 because I like those games. Those weren't done for views, they were done because I love those games. Whereas the Pokemon videos I'm thinking about, or I am going to be doing, I think that's going to be a good way to inject life into this channel. So it's still going to be Mortal Kombat, and I'm going to have this new fresh thing that will hopefully give the channel a boost, and then it doesn't have to become a totally different channel. I might just be able to focus on these two things hopefully and just do the Mortal Kombat and Pokemon, because whenever I take on too many things, you know, I always lose the way. But if we just keep it as like Mortal Kombat and Pokemon Go videos, I think that could be cool. So I'm going to give it a go, like I said, and then we'll see how things go. Next question. Oh, thanks for the happy 10 years. 10 years, man. Whew. I can't believe I've been doing this shit for 10 years. Alright, next question from Silent Hill UK 89. What did you like from this year's E3, and how cool was that God of War reveal? The God of War reveal trailer was pretty badass. It really was. It was a good comeback. Some people didn't like it, not many though. I thought the trailer was absolutely brilliant. One of my favourite reveals at E3 this year, honestly, normally I don't go for hardware, but I'm going to have to go with the Xbox Scorpio. Was a pretty badass reveal. It's a amazing console with huge amounts of power, and I really think it makes the PS Pro look like shit. It's a true 4K system. It's got a 4K drive in it. It can play 4K Blu-rays. It can play 4K digital. The games run at 4K at 60 with no frame loss. It's an amazing piece of hardware. That's probably what was my favourite reveal. They kind of already knew that Microsoft were going to drop something, but I thought that was pretty badass. It's a badass console. If that is Microsoft's last console, I think they went out on a winner, because pretty much consoles now are at the level of PC anyway. You know, I think that's the way Microsoft are looking at it. Okay, next question from Cogles. Keep up the great content, dude. Huge congratulations. Fantastic to see you achieve 10 years on YouTube. I was curious, who is your favourite character in Mortal Kombat Armageddon? Thanks, man. Who's my favourite character in Mortal Kombat Armageddon? See, the thing is, my favourite Mortal Kombat character is Scorpion, and Scorpion's in Armageddon, so it's got to be Scorpion. But one of the things that was cool about Armageddon was that it made every character playable from previous games. So it was cool to play as some characters like Serena, who'd never gotten to go before. You know, it was cool to play as those characters. That's something that was really cool about Armageddon. But, you know, I'm always go-to Scorpion, so. Alright, Next question from The Avenger. Congratulations again, TMK. I've been following you since before YouTube. It's pretty crazy how much time has passed. Tell me about it. What has been your favourite thing to come from making your website and starting this YouTube channel? What are your hopes for the future of your channel? How do you feel about the new Ghostbusters? There's a bit of a trend in releasing remasters or reboots of games recently. What games or series would you be happy to have remade? Yeah, firstly, thanks for following me since before the YouTube days. I'm sure there's not many of you around here. What has been your favourite thing to come from making your website and starting this YouTube channel? Definitely my favourite thing to come from making the website and that was it got me overseas. I've mentioned this in another video before, but I never thought I would. I used to always hear about people travelling overseas, like going to America and that. You know, I never thought I would do it. And I've done it so many times now. I've done it 4 times, been to the States. And, you know, because when I was younger, I had neighbours and they were like really rich, and I mean really rich. And they have this thing called Amway. And their mum would travel to the States all the time and come back with these Commodore 64 games and that, and for this Amway thing. And back then it was like $5,000 or something. It was really expensive to get on a plane and fly overseas. And I guess that's kind of always been in my head, and I thought it would forever be expensive and I wouldn't get to do it. But then that opportunity came around when in 2006 at the place I was working at where we had the Mortal Kombat 2 tournament, my boss wanted to go out because we love Nintendo, wanted to go out for the Wii launch. And so he invited me to go to E3, you know, and he, you know, because I worked for him, he paid for my ticket. So, and I asked if it was okay to hang out in the Mortal Kombat area too, and he said, yeah, it's cool. So I went there for Mortal Kombat Nintendo, and yeah, I got invited to E3 from Midway, which was cool. So didn't have to pay anything to get into E3, and I was like a guest of Midway. That's what's on the lanyard that's over there, guest of Midway Games. And yeah, that was just it all came from having the website, really. Even though it came from that job, really, but it paid off. Having the website got me recognition from Midway and got me into, you know, got me into E3, and then from then on I met Ed Boon, I met Dan Forden, I met Steve Baran, Tony Goski, you know, Sal DeVita, Sean Hemerick, you know, I met John Podlasek, Paulo Garcia, Brian Liberon, you know, John Edwards. I think that's everyone. I met all these cool people who work on the Mortal Kombat games, and that was all because just I had a website, you know, and it was just luck. I worked at this place, and because I'd done the American thing once, I then did it again in 2008 and 2010 and 2012 when I went to Colorado then, you know, and I kind of wasn't, you know, going overseas can kind of be a bit daunting, and I thought it would be a bit like strange and weird, but I had such a great time, and I really do like going to the States. And like once I'd done it once, you know, I was then confident enough. In 2008 I went by myself, and same in 2010, you know, and that's the biggest thing that came from having a website, I think, that was doing the traveling. Maybe you don't mind, I got some ollies here, little snack. Same with the YouTube channel, really. It's having the channel has been helped me get into events and helped me to continue to promote Mortal Kombat. What are your hopes for the future of your channel? I've kind of already spoken about that in this video, so I'm going to skip over that one. How do you feel about the new Ghostbusters? I did a review of it on Real Loud Reviews, but honestly that was our first video, and although we made it look amazing, we put shaving cream on ourselves like it was marshmallow, and we had slime, and we made it look awesome. I believe we talked so much in that video that when it came to editing, it was like 45 minutes of us talking, and we cut it down so much. I feel like the review is kind of too choppy, but I'd say watch it for my opinion on Ghostbusters, but I'll give you one now anyway, even if you don't want to go watch that. It was a disaster. You know, I said in Real Loud Reviews that it was an average movie, but thinking about it more, if I could rate it again, I'd probably give it a bit of a lower rating. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 10. I don't think I gave it a 5 out of 10. I'd give it more of... I'd bring it down a point. There was a lot of problems with it. I didn't have any problems with there being female Ghostbusters. In fact, that was probably one of the best parts of it. It was just the structure of the movie, just the story, the typical thing. They got to stop the thing at the end. The bad guy was shithouse. You know, they kept repeating scenes. Like there were scenes that were repeated twice. Like she gets kicked out of the university, and then they go to the other university, and they get kicked out of that university. You know, they had like recurring scenes happening twice. One thing I really hate about Paul Feig is he makes, like, the movies have this spin on them. They're geared for women, so like all the men in the movie are stupid, you know. And I don't care about sexism or anything, but I hate it when the movie tries to disguise it. So, you know, the secretary is, you know, played by Chris Hemsworth, is a dumb shit man, whereas the women are like super smart Ghostbusters. You know, the man in the university is a sexist pig. He says he's going to say suck it, you know, and the bad guy man hates everybody, and he's a bad guy, you know, and all these subtle messages, like, it shit me, you know. And I had all these, the whole crew, they had just women work on the movie, and they're all holding up the sign, girl power, you know. All that shit really, really annoyed me, because Ghostbusters shouldn't have been about any of that shit. It should have just been about making a good fucking movie. Now, my friend Mark always says, you know, but women always have been portrayed as stupid receptionists and that, you know. And straight away my answer to that was Janine Melnitz wasn't in Ghostbusters 1. She was anything but stupid. She was smart. You know, that was her job. At first, she was sitting there getting paid. She didn't have to do anything. Then it got real super busy, you know, and she wanted more help. You promised me you'd hire more help, you know. And then Bill Murray's such a prick back to her. You could get any job you want, you know. She says, I quit better jobs than this. Ghostbusters, what do you want? She didn't act stupid. Chris Hemsworth did in the new Ghostbusters. He acted like an idiot. And apparently that was funny, you know, and didn't sit with me, you know. I'm a big Ghostbusters fan. I do want to pick it up. I do want to put it in the collection. I just bought my very first 4K Blu-ray. I bought Ghostbusters 2. I didn't actually buy it because I have no money. I had a gift card and I used it for that because I just had a sale at JB. And the reason I got Ghostbusters 2 first was because I thought, hey, I'll get 2 first, because if they're going to stop selling Ghostbusters or Ghostbusters 2 will be the first to go, where Ghostbusters 1 will stay around longer. So I grabbed that first. But the new one, not a fan, but it had moments where it was kind of fun. You know, like, it was good seeing another Ghostbusters movie, even though it was bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like Ghostbusters. I like the world, you know. I like them working on their gadgets. They had some cool gadgets and things, you know. It had a lot of promise. It could have been a really good movie with a bit of fine-tuning. There's a bit of a trend with releasing remasters or reboots games recently. What game or series would you be happy to have remade? Oh, excuse me. It has to be definitely Mortal Kombat Deception. I would love to see that remade, HD, 60 frames a second, good graphics. Oh yeah. Let's go to the next question. From Adam Wilson, official. Congrats on 10 years. Your videos are always entertaining and informative. Thanks, Adam. My question would be, with the reveal for Injustice 2, how disappointed are you that it wasn't something MK related like Shaolin Monks 2 or something I would love to see, which is either a remaster of Deception for the Conquest mode or a new MK game in the style of Deception's Conquest mode? Yeah, look, since Injustice came along, it's been something I knew would be kind of a hindrance, especially since like Injustice did well for NetherRealm Studios. It then became apparent that that was going to be in the way of Mortal Kombat, or it was going to break it up, sort of. It's disappointing for me. Oh, sorry, excuse me, I'm getting tired. It's disappointing for me, but you know, I don't know if the MK team like working on Injustice. I have a feeling they do. They seem like they're all big superhero fans. They make a quality game, but it's just not for me. I'm just not invested in it. So for me, it's very disappointing. I would love to see them remaster Deception or something. Maybe they get the Q-Lock people to do it that just did the Mortal Kombat X on PC or something. Who knows? But I would love to see that remastered, you know, because I love Deception. Love it. Next question from Dennis Bergkamp17. Hey TMK, been a fan of yours for a few years now. I always enjoy and appreciate the content. My question involves your thoughts of them bringing back the run mechanic in MKX. It's something we haven't seen since MK4. Took me a while to get used to it. Took me a while to get used to the run and run cancels to pull off some of the more tricky. Pull off some of the more fancy and rewarding combos. But once I got used to it, I really liked it. Okay, so he's asking, how do I... firstly, I'll say thanks for being a fan and liking my content. I appreciate it. How do I feel about them bringing back the run button? Yeah, I like it. I do run sometimes. I don't, you know, because I'm not a good MKX player. I don't run into combos and that. I kind of just run in. Like I play it how you would use it in MK3. So run in like combo. You know, I don't do any sort of fancy. You mentioned fancy rewarding combos. I don't do any of that stuff. So, you know, but I like it. Yeah, no, it's definitely it worked in MK3, and I think it has its place in MKX. So yeah, I'm a fan of it. It's just kind of hard to get used to doing it. Next question from Neo James 82. Congrats on the 10 years, mate. Thanks, man. I do have two big questions I want to ask you, actually, now that I have a chance. Since you said you know Ed Boon pretty well, do you think he is happy being under the thumb of Warner Brothers? And do you think he would ever walk away from NetherRealm Studios if things get too bad and start up with another company? Thanks again and keep kicking ass. Well, it's hard to answer because I'm not Ed Boon. Ed Boon seems like kind of a lot like me in the fact that he's very loyal. So Ed Boon's been at Midway all that time up until their closing, and now he's at NetherRealm and he's making games like Injustice, and you can tell when he talks about Injustice and Mortal Kombat that he has a genuine interest in each one. But you know, it's alright for us to complain, or alright for me to complain that, I thought he was going to do the next 25 Mortal Kombats. Now he's got to do Injustice, which means we're only going to get, you know, the next 12 Mortal Kombats, and now we're going to get 12 Injustice games. It's alright for me to say that, complain about that, but when Ed Boon talks about Injustice and Mortal Kombat, you can tell he likes both, and I guess for him it stops him maybe getting burnt out and working on Mortal Kombat every year, non-stop. You know, Mortal Kombat, at least you're kind of breaking it up. But I don't know if that was his idea. I don't know if it was Warner's. Not privy to those meetings. So I don't think he would leave and start up a new company. I don't think he would. I think he would just stay where he is until he was ready to retire and sort of walk away from the video game business. But he seems pretty happy where he is. He's the head of NetherRealm Studios. You know, that's pretty cool. That's quite the feather in his cap, I'm sure. I'm sure he's proud of that achievement. You know, so I don't think he'd leave. You know, but yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to. Yeah. You said you think he would ever walk away from NetherRealm Studios if things got too bad. I don't think anything would get bad for him. You know, I think, like I said, I think he likes where he is, and like I said, I think he would just retire. I don't think he would start up another company. So that's I answered that as best as I could, and that's all speculation. So next question from Duffy is back. Hey TMK, big fan of yours for many years. Thanks, man. My questions are as follows. Have you played Mortal Kombat 2 Arcade Tournament Edition, also known as Ultimate MK2? If you have, did you enjoy it, seeing as you could play as the secret characters? Will you be doing a review of Ultimate MK3 on Saturn? Many thanks, Luke, and have a good one. Your pal from the UK. Thanks, man. Yep. Whoop. Have a sip of water. Yep, so the Ultimate MK3 Saturn review, as you probably already know, is up on the channel. I did it as part of this month's content. I have played Ultimate Mortal Kombat 2, and I did like it. It was fun. Yeah, I've still got it on the computer. I don't play it a lot, but yeah, no, it was fun to play as the secret characters and stuff, and see that someone had modified the arcade version and not just made like a Mugen. You know, I thought that was really cool. So yeah, props on the guys that worked on that. They did a good job. The only thing, actually, yeah, that's right. The only thing, let me think, what was it? You couldn't, it was something weird. You couldn't, another train. You couldn't, I'm trying to think what it was. Something with Johnny Cage. You couldn't, I don't think you could duck under his shadow kick and uppercut him. It was something like that. You couldn't duck under something. It was the shadow kick or the fireball. And so what he would do is, like Johnny Cage, I think it was the shadow kick, I think. He would do the shadow kick and you'd duck, because, you know, muscle memory, I'd just duck as a defense thing, and he would come close and he would instantly grab you and throw you. And I remember it was really hard to beat him for that. I can't exactly, it was so long since I played that Ultimate MK2. But it was something like that they changed, and I really hated it. I complained on their Facebook, and he's like, oh, it's easy, you just, you know, do this to get out of it or something. And I was like, no, I tried that, you know, and that was the only thing I didn't like about it, was the Johnny Cage thing they changed. Alright, next is from Liz Vag VAJ. Liz Vag. I'm sorry if I'm saying these wrong again. You know, I'm tired. I'm crap at reading funny names. You've seen Big Trouble in Little China, right? Of course I have. What's your thoughts on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wanting to remake that film, and do you think The Rock would be a good fit for the role of Jack Burton? Oh. There's some movies you just shouldn't remake, and that's one of them. Oh, shit, sorry, excuse me. I prefer they didn't remake Big Trouble in Little China, because it's such a great movie. Kurt Russell, so awesome in that movie. But, you know, I'll tell you something about The Rock. He surprises me a lot. Like, when he first left, like I was never a wrestling fan, never cared, but I love movies. And when he left wrestling and said, I'm going to do movies now, I thought it was going to suck. Like, I thought they were going to be like always meathead movies and that, and they kind of are. He kind of does play that role. He's in the Fast and the Furiouses and all that. But you know what? The first movie he did that I always remember him for was the Mummy Returns, where he was the Scorpion King, and it fit because they needed a strong guy in that, a strong big guy, and you know he was the Scorpion King. He had the bracelet. Oh, you know, it worked. It was actually really cool until I got to that crappy CG ending. Let's not talk about that. But when he was the actual, the Scorpion King man, you know, at the start and everything, it was really great. And you know what? Those Fast and the Furious movies, I hated Fast and Furious 4 and 3, but he joined them in the 5th one, and I got the 5th one. I just bought it. Back then I had a job. And I thought, oh, I'll watch it, see what it's like. You know, I was in the mood for a dumb movie, and I watched it, and I loved it. And I told my friend Mark, I'm like, you gotta watch this. It's actually good. It's not shit. You know, it's exciting. It's a heist. There's a scene where they steal this safe, and it's going down the road, and it's changed, and it was really good. And he watched it, and he really liked it too. And I'm like, The Rock's really good in this. Like, he can actually, he's acting. It's not crap. It's quite got good chemistry and that, you know. And from then on, I've enjoyed seeing The Rock in movies, and he was good in that Walking Tall as well. So you know what? I don't want to see Big Trouble in Little China remade, but maybe The Rock can make it work. Who knows? Probably not. It's probably a bad idea, but you know, who knows? You know, John Carpenter did magic with that first one though, so yeah. You know, if they remade it, it'd be a CGI fest, which is what sucks, you know. John Carpenter did some real great practical effects with that original, and that's what gives it such a great, unique look, and it still holds up today. Next question from Johnny Rycan. Hey TMK, I've been subbed since around 07 when I became heavily into Mortal Kombat. My question is, why do you think that that MK vs DC is looked down upon by many fans of the series and critics? I personally felt that the story was good, and if you take the game for what it is, it's a very solid experience. Look back on it. Do you still enjoy, looking back on it, do you still enjoy MK vs DC? I do. As you know, I did a playthrough of it for the videos, the group of videos, and I always liked MK vs DC. The fatalities were pretty bad. Some were decent. The finishes sucked, but the game itself played well. The story was a lot of fun, and I enjoy a Mortal Kombat versus DC crossover more than an Injustice game. So I liked it. It was a quality game, and it was a lot of fun. And I don't know why the critics were so upset. If anything, I understand why the fans were upset. They wanted all the gore and didn't get it. But the neutral critics shouldn't have cared. Like, it wasn't a bad game, so I don't know what their problem was. But I still enjoy it. I really thought the story was a lot of fun, and seeing the crossover and the merging of worlds. So the next question comes from Shin Igama. Shigema Inako. Used to watch a long time ago. Started watching again when I looked for this channel. You put out some good content, and congrats on 10 years. Oh, thanks, man. And thanks for coming back. We need more reviews. So, which Mortal Kombat... He's got 5 questions. Which Mortal Kombat boss had the most satisfying or cool death scene in the arcade modes, in your opinion? In the arcade modes. I've probably got to go with MK2, Shah Khan. I know it's classic, but when you beat him, the whole no, and then the through all the levels, and then like it cracks up and explodes. I thought that was pretty badass. Next question is, which Killer Instinct character was easiest for you to learn how to play? Well, when I first saw it in the arcades, I would watch guys play Killer Instinct. I tried to play, got my ass kicked. And then one day I watched a guy play, and he was using Fulgore, and he was really good with Fulgore. And I was watching him play, and I said, I hope you don't mind me. I'm just kind of trying to learn the game. And he went, no, he's cool. And he taught me a few of the moves. He taught me how to do things and he kind of gave me a real basic idea of the combo system. And there's a basic combo where Fulgore comes in, he dashes in with the claw and goes, and then kind of finishes it with like a dragon uppercut, you know, and then you can do the triple fireball, the boom, boom, boom. That was the combo I learnt from that guy. And the whole time I played an arcade, I just played Fulgore. But I was never good on the arcade version. When it came home, I heard about the combos you could do with Orchid, the repeat combo with the quick punch, and then Orchid became my favourite character because it was easy to do longer combos with her, and you know, she was a lot of fun to play as too, and she became my favourite. But on arcade, it was originally Fulgore. 3. Which would you prefer for a new Mortal Kombat movie, a live action movie with CG, following the story of the first game with enough world building to establish sequels leading up to at least MK3, 2D animated film done by animation team by things like Flashpoint Paradox, following one MK game of your choice, or a CG short movie with Square Enix level CG detailing the first battle against Shinnok? I'd have to go with the live action movie with CG. Yeah, for sure. I still have hope. Not a big fan of, like, I know Square Enix does great CG, but I don't think it would work as a movie. And animated, yeah, but you can't do the things I think you need to do in a Mortal Kombat movie that you can do in live action. Another fucking train. Jesus. Trying to just trash up my video tonight. This is a long video though, so can't blame them. Next question. Have you ever gotten into an RPG? And if so, which one was it? I have. And there's the Phoenix Wright games, which I love, but the RPG I always think about, which I absolutely loved. I'll grab it, it's right over here. Paper Mario on the GameCube. That was the coolest GameCube game ever. That Nari 4. I absolutely adore Paper Mario. I played the hell out of that. I've never really played RPGs much before, but Paper Mario was such a great game, and it was so detailed on so many levels with the things you could do in the game. You upgrade your stage, upgrade your characters, you find badges, all sorts of things. So definitely Paper. Next question. Last question for him. After all is said and done, of the 3 NetherRealm games released so far, which of them do you feel like is the one you'll be likely returning to play the most often in years to come? Thank you, and hope you have a great day. Thanks. Probably MK9. MK9 had so much content. I didn't play it much when it was coming out because I was so pissed at WB. And there's still a lot I need to do on it that I haven't done. So I want to go back and play more MK9. Alright, next question from the past rocks. TMK, do you think they should remake Mortal Kombat 1? And if so, what would you like to see in the game? If they remake MK1, they should just make a proper HD version of it like they were going to. That's the only way I want them to see them remake MK1, because MK1 for me is like the best Mortal Kombat game. So I don't really want them to do anything to it. I'd like to see a HD version with new graphics. That could be fun, but other than that, don't touch it.